Hi, welcome to the Grizzled Geek. I'm Mike.
I'm Doug.
And today we're going to review Venom.
At a cost.
All right, well, we actually got to see Venom tonight. I know Doug has been anticipating this movie all year long.
Yeah.
So as usual, is how it's going to work. We're going to go in, give our review, non-spoiler review, and then we're going to have a spoiler warning, and then we're going to go talk about all the, cameos and special features and things that,
Yeah.
you should go see the movie
Everything
for.
you'll spoil the movie for.
Yeah. So, all right, Doug, you were the biggest hater of this movie.
Yeah.
So I'll let you start off. What did you think?
Meh.
Meh.
It was. There's some kind of cool CGI fights. I guess Venom looked cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, they did a good job with that. Tom Hardy did a good job with what he was given. I don't think what he was given was great.
Yeah.
But he did a good job. And like I said, I like some of the fight scenes are pretty good with the the CGI fest and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it was done well with that kind of character.
Yeah.
And let you do cool stuff with that character. But overall, it was just a generic. I mean, it was literally like they cut and pasted a Bond villain story. And just put Venom in the place of James Bond, and that was it. I mean, it was
Just not even a good Bond villain. 'Cause Bond had some
it was
cool villains.
totally generic. Like, I want to, blah blah blah, cure cancer, so I'm going to kill homeless people, or whatever. Kind of just like, we're destroying the earth. Meh.
Well, I will say this: I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. It's not a good, I wouldn't say it's a good movie, but it's not the dumpster fire that we were sold, that everyone was saying it was going to be.
Yeah.
Right. I did enjoy Tom Hardy and Venom. Their relationship, I think, was one of the strongest parts of the movie.
It was pretty much the only good part of the movie. Yes.
Yeah. Luckily, it's a big part of the movie. I agree with you. The bad guy is completely generic. This is before the Marvel formula. This is what superhero movies used to fall into, right? I mean, there's a lot, even like, I don't know. There was like one cringy moment for me, which I'll get into in the spoilers. But other than that, it wasn't that bad. Had some humor in it. The action scenes were awesome. Venom looked awesome. We got to see quite a bit of them. We were worried about how much Venom we'd see.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot more Venom than you would think.
Yeah,
and they have some little cool nods and Easter eggs for comic fans, so that was nice.
Yeah, but there was a lot of waste in this movie. A lot of waste, as in Michelle Williams was a great actress. She was kind of wasted in the movie. She didn't have enough to do in the movie.
She was barely in it.
She was barely in it. There's and the Jenny Slate was barely in it. She was kind of a pointless. I mean, I actually had part of the problem I have with the movies with her. Not her as an actress, but her character.
Okay.
And then there was the bad guy. Riz Ahmed is a good actor,
Yeah.
I mean, but it would just so generic and bad, and even the bad symbiote was not,
Spoiler.
Yeah, sorry. Well, you saw that. In the
Oh, did we?
Yeah, it was a big CGI fest of them fighting.
Oh, okay.
In the trailer,
Sorry.
so yeah, you've seen
that trailer.
There's a bad symbiote.
Yeah.
Well, they're all
bad symbiotes.
They're all bad symbiotes, but yeah, I mean, it was. It could have been a lot better. Like, you look at that movie like this, and
that's one of the things we said going out of the theater is, wow, there was a lot there you could have done a lot more with.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even had to have tried. We thought of a better plot for the movie in like the 10-minute drive home than that whole.
If they just did this instead of this, it would have been a lot better movie.
Yeah, it was just.
It was just a waste, and
I will go
potential for a lot of it.
What was its Rotten Tomato score?
27%.
What was it before that?
33.
Yeah, 27 is definitely probably too low for it.
Yeah,
it's not that bad.
I wouldn't say. I wouldn't even call it rotten. I'd give it over a 50, but I'd be around there, 50, 55.
I mean,
I think it's more enjoyable than it is bad, because there's bad movies, right? I think if anything below 50 should be a bad movie. This was not a bad movie. It just wasn't a great movie, and it was just kind of, it was the kind of superhero movies we got back in the day before Marvel started getting that formula down.
Yeah.
There was a few standouts back in the day, but a lot of the early superhero movies were just this kind of generic.
Yeah, but even that coming.
Like where the actual main hero is the bright shiny moments of those movies, and then the bad guy, the plot, all that other stuff kind of suffers as just a showcase for the hero, which is kind of what this movie felt like, because the Venom parts were awesome, right? Venom was awesome in this movie. Tom Hardy was awesome in this movie. And I was worried about Tom Hardy when I saw the trailers, when I saw his over the top New York accent. They actually tone that down. I think
it doesn't seem like that was. They must have. Those previews must have included some lines where he just was a little too off.
It was like,
because overall, his accent didn't bother me through the movie.
No. It's like that line in the trailer where it's like, man, you work for is a bad person. When he's got that New York accent that you're like, oh man, it's kind of like no one talks like that. Well, he doesn't. That line's not even in. He doesn't even use that line in the movie. He's a different take for that scene.
Oh, okay.
In the movie. And it works much better. And I mean, like I said, that trailer was like early scenes that they used other. I mean, you do the scenes multiple times, so they probably made like some I'll try over the top this time with the dialogue, and that was some of the scenes we got for the trailer. But overall, I had no problem with it with Tom Hardy. Once again,
I had problems with what he was given to do,
but that's coming with the plot. Though,
I don't think he did a bad job, but some of his scenes were not good.
Yes.
If that makes sense. I'm like I said, I think 27 is definitely too low. 33 is probably too low. I'm not with Mike with the 50. I wouldn't give it a 50. I think the plot is just too weak. There's really no story to this. So I would give it someplace around a 40 to, about a 40. If it was a Rotten Tomato type score.
Right. Yeah. Which is not really a score, it's an aggregate of...
It's an aggregate,
so really kind of... But so you'd probably say like a 4 out of 10?
Yep.
That's where I would go 5.5 out of 10. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there you go. It's actually not the dumpster fire. If you're a fan of Venom, you should definitely go see this movie, right?
Well... Depending on what kind of fan you are of Venom.
I guess.
If you got into Venom just because of Venom, and you don't care about his origins, his connection to Spider-Man, anything like that, then you might be okay with this movie.
Yeah, we'll get into all that.
If you like the origin of the Venom Spider-Man relationship and how that built and all that kind of stuff, then you might be upset.
If you like the whole anti-hero aspect of the Eddie Brock and Venom relationship when they were actually out being kind of heroes, anti-heroes. Yeah. If you like that relationship and you like that, I mean, it's just cool to see.
Yeah.
All right. Let's put it this way. Better Venom than Spider-Man 3?
Yes. Yeah.
And that had a direct connection with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And yet this was a better Venom. This is the Todd McFarlane Venom from the comics. So, I mean... I really like this Venom a lot better than, the Spider-Man 3 Venom.
Yeah, I mean, draw a parallel. This is essentially Venom is to this movie what Rey and Kylo Ren were to the Last Jedi. The only good part of the movie.
The only good part of the movie, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Eddie Brock Venom scenes are pretty much all that.
Yeah.
There's a couple of other interactions, but for the most part, that's it. That's all you're going for.
Yeah.
Don't expect
every
a
bad
good
guy
story.
in this is just generic bad guy number whatever.
Yeah.
And the main bad guy is generic main bad guy leader. Yeah. So, yeah, if you go into this movie, go into it for the fun action. If you want a fun action movie, just a popcorn movie. Yeah. I don't care about the plot or anything. I just want to see some cool scenes, cool action. Go see this movie. If you're a fan of Venom at all, the character Venom, go see the movie. It's it's good. Don't be swayed by all these other things. Now, if you're going into it looking for a good plot, a good movie, if you want a Marvel style,
decent story,
you want good, strong emotional connection. This is not that superhero movie.
Yeah.
And before we get into the spoilers, do you think this is launch sync or doesn't affect the Sony Spider-Verse? And does your prediction for how much it makes it change any?
Well, let's see. We were there with a essentially 3/4 full theater.
Yeah.
Not we didn't see it in IMAX or 3D, so those were probably. I'm gonna stick with my guns. I don't think it's gonna get good word of mouth. I think you'll see a good opening Thursday and Friday.
So under 50 still?
I think it's still gonna be under 50.
Okay.
And I think that I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, here's the problem: is I think Sony is so greedy that they're gonna keep trying, no matter how many fails they have.
How much money are you going to throw at this before?
Yeah.
Now, is this going to affect Mobius and
God, I hope so.
the Silver Sable and the Black Cat movies?
Probably.
Yeah. Hopefully. I mean.
Yeah. I mean, I think those are.
They
poorly conceived ideas.
Fantastic made them give up on the Fantastic Four after losing that much money.
Man.
I don't know if it's going to lose money because this was at a lower budget. So we'll see what it does. It'll probably make its money back in the theaters. And like I said, it's not a horrible movie. So we'll see. There you have it, folks. That's our non-spoiler take on it, on Venom. Not the greatest movie, but definitely not a dumpster fire.
Yeah, it was not.
Something that, if I will probably watch it again, on cable or whatever, Netflix or Netflix, something like that, whatever it comes on.
Yeah. I would probably not go out of my way to ever
watch
it again.
Probably not, but I might show. My son, or whatever, watch it.
I might pull up the scene to see if I can see what you were talking about.
Oh yeah, I'll get into that in the spoilers.
In the spoilers, cool. But other than that, I wouldn't.
Well, there you have it, folks. Our meh review of Venom. So if you haven't seen the movie, this is where you stop. Go check out the movie you're going to, or if you're not going to, go ahead and stick around because going forward, we're going to spoil it all and tell you what we really thought about some of the scenes and break down why this movie doesn't work as well as it should have.
Right.
So here you go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. So right off the bat, no Spider-Man.
No.
And no real connection to Spider-Man.
No.
No connection to the Marvel Universe at all.
Right.
Which really makes you wonder about the.
Well, there's one little throwaway that kind of, if you're a comic fan, you'll get it.
Right. One of the astronauts.
There's an astronaut named Jameson.
Yeah.
Which in the comics is J. Jonah Jameson's son.
Who was an astronaut in the comics.
Yes.
So
correct.
That was great. It was Jameson. That was nice. There was some little Easter eggs, which makes me wonder how much. What this deal with Marvel? What does that mean? Because they couldn't even use Daily Planet.
Yeah.
They had to use Daily Globe, where he worked from New York.
They
got fired from. It was the Daily Globe, not the Daily Planet or Daily Bugle. Daily Planet Superman.
Right. Yeah.
So couldn't use that one either. But
yeah.
But yeah, so wow, and Sony owns Spider-Man and all those things. So if they can't use Daily Bugle, how much grip does Marvel have on Spider-Man?
I don't. Yeah.
No mention.
No. Yeah. So no mention of Spider-Man, anything like that.
I know. I'll say that we'll jump into the spoilers here. The evil symbiote in the movie is not Carnage. No. They tease Carnage.
Well. Yeah, it's not Carnage, but it certainly is equipped like Carnage.
He does. He
uses spikes and blades. And all kinds of stuff.
He has very Carnage-like powers, which brings us to the main point of our biggest problem with the movie is the bad guy, right? If they had a more compelling bad guy, and they didn't have, especially when the evil symbiote is just a generic symbiote, right?
Right.
And why not use Carnage? Especially if he has the same kind of powers as Carnage, then the comic book fans would have be more invested in this bad guy, because
in the comics, I believe Carnage is just a sliver of Venom that eventually regrows itself to a full one,
right?
And bonds with a serial killer and then they named them. Oops, sorry. And then they named themselves Carnage.
Right.
The symbiote itself is not named that at first.
Right.
But again, spoilers here. They have Cassidy.
They have Cletus Cassidy
in the movie, and they got Woody Harrelson to play him in a post-credit scene. If you had just had him, I mean, I'm sure that was not handled well. If what you were shooting for is to aim for a second movie with Carnage, they didn't even show some of the symbiotes surviving to make it to him.
Right.
If they had done
all the symbiotes with Venom were dead at the end of this.
Which they should have just skipped to the end and had, instead of the bad guy researching on homeless people, experiment on prisoners and criminals. And then you make Cletus Cassidy into Carnage, and he's the bad guy of the movie.
Right. And then you would actually have comic fans be invested more into the movie and the bad guy and the end fight, which at this point was just so generic. It was just kind of like, like, oh, wow, look, he's got Carnage-like powers. And he's gray, and Venom's black, and they fought at night. So there were times where you're not even sure who's who in that fight scene.
Yeah.
Like when there were some awesome fight scenes where Venom's fighting, like, soldiers and whatnot, and SWAT team guys, and, the goons from the, Life Foundation. But, I mean, the end CGI fest fight with the evil symbiote was just kind of, But
I would say the fights with, like, the chase scene on the motorcycle, sweet. It was pretty cool, although it makes you wonder. You're like, what? Okay, I know that they say they established that this dude's rich at the beginning.
Yeah,
and you're like, hey, he could buy this network with his pocket change or some throwaway line like that, like, ooh, he's uber rich. But he threw away dozens of drones. Badass drones.
Yeah.
Trying to blow Eddie Brock up, apparently. Why would you use drones that way? It did not make any sense, that part of the chase scene.
Yeah.
The other part, I mean, the uses of Venom were cool. They had some sweet stuff where he pulls the turn where Venom reaches out and grabs a light post and then makes a puddle of himself to shield Eddie when they turn. That was awesome.
That was pretty cool. There were some awesome powers of the symbiote suit.
The uses of the symbiote suit were really cool. The Venom voice in his head was awesome. Yeah. It was hilarious a lot of the time. It was,
They're, like I said, their interaction is the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
But once again, just the generic bad guy and the waste, like Jenny Slate's character, who's like the dumbest smart person ever. And for a top secret facility, their security is crap.
Yeah.
I mean, they're experimenting on aliens and doing illegal experiments on people.
Oh, yeah, on live humans.
And she's able to just drive him in there. Like,
hunker down in the back seat.
The back seat. I'll drive you in. I'm like, really?
He wasn't, as far as we can tell, he wasn't in the trunk or anything like that. He was just laying down in the back seat.
But she got in and took him straight up to the lab where the aliens are.
Yep.
Take a look here. So, I mean, that was kind of strange. I mean, and Riz Ahmed, he was just he couldn't decide whether he wanted to be creepy or menacing or psychotic, and he just kind of failed at all of them. Yeah. He was just...
Yeah, they didn't pick a route. It was like this, I'm the kind of unfeeling bad guy who's just, I'm doing this for the betterment of mankind. Right. Nope, maybe I'm just doing it to save myself, or maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Right. They explain one brief line in the movie where they explain how they get the symbiotes. Yeah. Where she says, they picked the symbiotes up on, you probably heard about the spaceship crash. Well, they were actually out scouting for new planets because he's ready to abandon the planet because we're just short of resources. It's going to be the world's going to be unlivable in one generation. So he's decided to abandon it, and he's looking for a new place to move to. So there was a mission coming back from scouting for livable planets, and they run across a comet. And I'm like, where did you go scouting? I mean,
Yeah, I'm all...
One, you can tell if planets in our solar system are livable from Earth. So where did your spaceship go?
And where should you
How did it get there?
Faster than light travel in your FTL drives.
If that's what's going on,
And
why didn't you mention that?
Yeah, and if he has FTL drives, why is he messing around with the, his pharmaceutical business?
I know. I'm just like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, where exactly were you looking?
Yeah, so
they're checking the moon out just to make sure because they haven't been there in a while. There's still no water or air, so I guess we're gonna come back. Oh, look, a comet.
A comet that nobody else could see from. That wasn't like this.
Yeah, I mean,
it was. The science in this was horrible. There was really no effort to make this plot make any sense. In my opinion, it was very just shoddily written, very generic.
I mean, you can basically boil it down to this. There's an evil bad guy in his corporation, found some aliens, right?
Yep.
So he brings them back to Earth, starts experimenting on them, realizing they're symbiotes, and he's trying to never figures out a way to successfully bond them with people.
But that's his ultimate goal is we can make a better species by bonding our two organisms together.
Yeah. So
okay.
That's what he's basically trying to do. He ends up killing most of the symbiotes and pretty much all of the experiments.
Because he can't figure out how to feed them.
Right. One of them escapes, gets into Eddie Brock, who happens to be a good host, and they actually bond. And because they form a bond that the other guy can't, then they got to hunt down. So then basically the whole movie is a hunt to get the symbiote back from Eddie Brock, or get him because he's actually bonded with the symbiote to study him.
Figure out.
That's pretty much the entire thing. And then there's a subplot where there was one of the aliens escaped from the crashed ship, which I don't understand why they had to do that. And so every once in a while you'll see the alien. There'll be a scene where the alien goes from host to host as it tries to make its way from China to the United States.
Yeah.
Right, and then eventually, when he gets there, he infests the big bad guy, and then that symbiosis works. So, and then there's a big fight because he wants to go to space and bring the rest of them,
millions of others of them,
and come back here, even though they couldn't get with all these experiments, they couldn't get two of them to bond with anybody.
Yeah,
but yet they're going to bring the millions back here and find the right fit or whatever. And then Venom ends up liking Eddie Brock and ends up liking Earth, and he wants to save it. So he's got to stop him.
Yeah,
that's the plot. That's the entire plot. So, yeah, ill-conceived bad guy.
And hilarity ensues.
Yeah, there is some humor.
There is a little bit.
And I like humor. There was one I mentioned. There was a cringy moment. And there was a scene in a restaurant where he's just finding out the symbiote. He goes to see his ex-fiancée and his new boyfriend in this fancy restaurant, and the Venom's really hungry and he's trying to eat off of everybody's plate, and then he's burning up and he's super hot, and so he goes and dumps in a lobster tank and then starts eating raw lobster. And it was just kind of over the top, nearly slapstick kind of. Yeah. And that was
like he grabs a steak off of a plate, takes a bite out, and he's like, "Oh, that's dead."
That's dead, and spits it out. It's just, it was not good. That scene was bad and kind of cringy. You're like, oh man, why did they do this? Yeah. The kind of goofy scene. But then that was pretty much the only one like that. Everything else, all the other humor between, Eddie and Venom was right on. So, and I got to say, his fiancée moved on, basically traded up pretty quickly in 6 weeks.
6 months.
Was it 6 months?
It was 6 months later.
6 months. Okay, I can understand. Jared's got a new doctor moved in with her.
Yeah.
But, he's very understanding. The doctor,
Yep, he's like, "Oh, I heard a lot about you." And
he's like a big fan of Eddie Brock for some reason. He goes out of his way to help him out. I'm like, wow, that's my girlfriend's ex. I'm like, I don't know if I'd go that far to help him. But, yeah. But there you have it, folks.
And Stan Lee does make
does make a cameo.
Does make his cameo in here.
Yes.
At the end of the movie, so that was good.
It was good. That was, like I said, and it was a good cameo, too. And and the thing is, Woody Harrelson, at the end, the one end credit scene was like, they go to the prison, there's a psycho, but they don't actually mention his name. They don't call him Cletus Cassidy.
They call him Red.
They call him Red.
And then he says, and he throws out the line, and you're like, when I get out of here, and I will get out of here, there will be carnage.
There will be carnage, yeah. So I'm like, if you had Woody Harrelson as Carnage in this movie, come on, man, that would be a much better movie. But yeah, I mean, like I said,
couldn't have made it worse. So it definitely probably would have made it better. So
yeah. So I mean, yeah.
Like I said, I have 4 out of 10 and for me, 5.5 out of 10 for Mike. So
Yeah. Not horrible.
it's up to you.
but
I
not dumpster
wouldn't
fire.
waste my money on it if I were you, but
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. That's our review. Okay, there you have it, folks. Venom review. 4, 5.5.
yep.
Not a great movie. Not a horrible movie, but just kind of a meh. Could have been so much better. A lot of wasted potential. So, well, we'll see you next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, tell your friends about the channel, and leave your comments down below. What did you guys think of Venom? Did you like it? What were you hoping for? Were you hoping for that Spider-Man cameo that we didn't get? Do you think the Sony Spider-Verse is dead after this? Or what do you think? Let us know. We'd love to have that discussion with you and, goob about it. All right, guys. If you want to support the channel, you can do so with the links down below, and we'll be back next time with some more reviews. Bye.
Bye.